Hi, folks. Can you hear me? I just like to. I really just feel it's appropriate to share this. So, this is the account of servant and his Saul and his servant. I've taken it from a study that I've done recently. One day, Saul's father Kish happens to lose his donkeys, so he sends Saul off. It comes from 1 Samuel, I think it is. Sends Saul off with a servant to go and look for the donkeys. Right? So they can't find the donkeys. So Saul says to his servant, "Come, let's go back, or my father will stop thinking about the donkeys and he'll start worrying about us." That's 1 Samuel 9, verse 5. But the servant is persistent. The servant says to Saul, while they're going along, he says, "There's a man of God in this town. Let's go to him. Maybe he will know where the donkeys are." All right? 1 Samuel 9, verse 6. So there's a leading towards a divine encounter that happens here. And as we read in the scripture, the servant does not give up, but he encourages his master to meet the man of God. He himself believed in the prophet of God, he the servant, because he makes a remark about him. He says, everything he says comes true. And it is this divine encounter that changes Saul's destiny forever as a result of the servant's faith. Saul was hesitant to go because he did not have anything to offer to the man of God. If we go, what can we give the man? The food in our sacks is gone. We have no gift to take the man of God. What do we have? So obviously they were young. And because young men eat all the food that's in their sacks as soon as they're hungry. But this servant is to me so special, the way he is persistent and he takes his responsibility seriously. The other servant steps in and offers to give his own silver coin. Wow. Not only was this servant loyal and committed, but he was also willing to pay a sacrificial price to help his master. The servant's right timing. Meanwhile, before Saul could meet Prophet Samuel, God had already spoken to Samuel to anoint him as king over Israel. And Samuel also gives Saul the good news that his lost donkeys have been found. Isn't this amazing how God used this unnamed servant to bring Saul to his destiny? And so for me, the punchline in this is that, the servant gets sent back off, and then Saul stays with Samuel, and Samuel gives him this word that he's going to become king and prays for him. And the valuable lesson that we learn from the servant here is this is how we must serve God, by leading people to their God destinies without expecting praise or recognition from man, knowing that our praise comes from God. For God is not unjust. He will not forget how hard you have worked for him and how you have shown your love to him by caring for other believers as you still do. Thank you, Douglas and Edith, for caring for us as believers from far away. Bless you. So life application from this little study today is one of the biggest joys you can have is leading people into their God destinies. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for God and not for man. And choose rather to love praise from God more than from men.